Hi everyone, today we are going to be discussing gluten. Thank you for joining. This is Norris the Kung Fu Baker. Tea time, grab your favorite beverage, and we are off and running. I am recalling a conversation that I had with a customer that's like, hey, you know what? I don't get it. I've gone to Europe, eaten all the bread and pasta that I could to my heart's content, and then I come back here and all of a sudden I'm getting issues, whether that's migraines that I've heard from other customers, joint issues, gastrointestinal issues. And the more research that I've done, I've discovered a couple of things. One, in the industry, it's a common practice for herbicides, pesticides, fungicides to be used on our crops. So that extra toxicity can't really be great for us. In fact, many articles actually prove the fact that it's dangerous, cancer causing, and the list goes on. So I feel like, in my opinion, that gluten has become the scapegoat. Now, granted, if you look at a loaf of bread from the market and you look at the label, sometimes it says vital gluten as an ingredient. So in the industry, commercial bakeries sometimes add extra gluten to a recipe in order to make it more elastic, easier for machines to work, because I don't know if you've ever mixed water and flour together, it becomes kind of a sticky mess, right? So how does it not stick to equipment? Well, you got machining, lubricants, and I call them chemical cocktails, in order to firm up dough, condition dough, in order to be workable. And I think it's become an issue to where people just can't digest it anymore, you know, and therefore we're seeing issues that these problems may be causing. So I know that I've had plenty of customers who have commented to me, it's like, you know, my husband bought a loaf and I tried it, or my wife bought a loaf and I tried it, and I didn't have a problem with your bread. So what do you do different? Okay, so you got a list of ingredients that are basically as pure as I can find, and I'm always striving for more. Part of my Kung Fu training, my Kung Fu instructor has really instilled that. Always strive for greatness, right? Higher levels of. So I do that in every facet of my life. I want better relationships. I want better time with my children, right? That quality time. And I do that in my recipes, whether it be a simple egg with toast or as complicated as croissants filled with chocolate that we grew from our own cacao pod, right? Or processed from our own cacao. So, and that's the fun of food, and that's the joy that I get from that passes on to you in that enthusiastic, loving energy, right, that people consume. As a side note, there's an awesome book called The Hidden Messages in Water, and it shows how just writing a word on a jar will change the molecular structure of water itself. So if we have the power to do that, imagine our body is mostly made out of water. What our thoughts, what our intentions not only change in us, but our surroundings. So keep a loving thought in your mind and love and compassion in the heart, and we'll get further in this world. So going back to the gluten, there was a really funny post that I saw as a tagline, maybe it was a shirt, that said, gluten, don't fight it, ferment it. And that's the beauty of sourdough, because sourdough, that probiotic, right, that culture, is a living organism that is actually eating the flour. It consumes it. And just like if you were to make yogurt, you add milk, the bacteria culture, and all of a sudden, boom, it firms up and you have yogurt. Well, in sourdough, you have something similar going on in respects to you have a bacteria and a wild yeast, and the two are working to make this beautiful loaf of bread for you. And in the process, it's using its own enzymes to break down the grains. And I use pink Himalayan sea salt to remineralize the body. And now you have that higher nutrition content from pure ingredients. I'm skipping all the chemical cocktails, right? Because I don't need them, don't want them. And therefore, you have a properly fermented loaf of bread, because grains on themselves are difficult to digest, so they benefit greatly. We benefit greatly from using a sourdough starter to break down those ingredients to make them easier to digest. Plus, you get the added bonus of better texture, better flavor, and the list goes on. So if you can get your hands on some real sourdough, do so, because it will change your life. And the bakers who are doing that, I tip my hat off to you, because I know from hands-on experience, it's a passion and labor of love for sure. So let's support our bakers any way we can. Really, all artisans that are doing it the old world way for better health, really for a better world. So our action item for today is to look at the label of your bread that you're purchasing and see what's in it. Going back to the whole if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it concept, that still holds true. But also, you should only really see flour, a sourdough starter, and salt. Maybe water. Sometimes they leave that out, I don't know why. However, again, if you see things that are enriched, that just means that they pulled everything out and slapped a, how would you say, a multivitamin that's lab created to hopefully bring back some nutrition into bread. I prefer having the whole grain in. Other episodes will cover ingredients in detail. I just wanted for this episode to really get you thinking with your cup of tea on, hey, what's really in my bread? What am I eating? Why are people feeling bloated after they eat wheat products? And you'll come to realize quickly that, well, we're probably not eating actual food that's digestible. So thank you for joining us. I look forward to speaking and learning from you. And let's make this world a better place. Take care. God bless.